I am an asylum seeker, mother and wife with an extensive academic and professional background, but with limited English in Australia. When I arrived here nearly 2 years ago in my journey to learn English, I have met wonderful women of different countries, cultures and backgrounds who have just arrived or who have been here for decades. These wives, mothers and grandmothers are most of the times invisible inside and outside the household. Why? Because they can speak, read and write proper English. Why? Because when we arrived here, we were full of fears about the things that we lost in our countries and many new things we find here. But we cannot overcome those fears because in our roles as mothers and or wives, must spend our time to take care of our children, husbands, and the household while they are at work or at school. This situation put us back as other members of the family moved forward. In most cases, this brings an unbalanced in power relations. It leads women to have a lack of confidence, feelings of isolation, depression, and the risk of being victims of domestic violence. Why does this happen to us? Because we have many things to deal with before we learn English. For example, the cultural shock. With time, some of us prefer to become close in our native language communities and to have little contact with the English-speaking society. Usually, contact with the English-speaking community causes them frustration and fear and contributes to a decrease in self-esteem. Women who come here to marry Australian men are at risk of being permanently threatened and returned to their countries if they do not do what their husband wants them to do. Elder women are brought to Australia usually to take care of their grandchildren and are allowed little contact outside the household. In the majority of cases, there is an increase in unequal power relationship between man and woman and or mother and children. Because on most occasions, children act as interpreters when women need to go out, and with time they acquire more power over their mothers. With time, the communication between mothers and their children decreases as the English vocabulary of the children improves and excels their native language. This leads to increased lack of confidence in women, problems that follow not only impact on women but on their family and especially their children. The mother's isolation and sadness can be a spillover effect for her children and cause the children further problems. But there is a strong belief that governments and organizations should focus their work on the second generation instead of on the first. However, if we work on improving the life of these women and if we work on improving their welfare and happiness, their perception of themselves will have a positive impact, not only on themselves, but on their family and on society. And I believe this is another way of discrimination, because we are ignored. Nobody listens to us outside, and on occasion inside home too. Now, the question is she invisible outside and also in their homes? And if the battle of each woman is with herself, how do we give women a voice? How do we support and empower her? At the individual level, it is necessary to provide education and emotional support, but it is necessary to make real social change because English classes or counseling are not the only ways. There needs to be some changes, full awareness of society about this problem, changes in migration policies, connect the different organizations that support women, education, health, legal, and financial organizations need to work together and be proactive in the engagement of women in their programs.